Happy Wednesday! I am the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, taking you through almost 6 p.m. Eastern time today. We'll see how far we go. I've got some things to talk about in the NFL, Major League Baseball. There's only one WNBA game tonight, so wasn't that thrilled about it. Two teams that I just couldn't really find a good edge on. It is a gloomy, horrible, gross day here in New York. I'm still at my parents' house, clearly, but they come home today. But I will be here for the next week and a half because I will never leave. Thanks, Shawn Michael. You changed your picture, by the way. I'm repping the New York Atlas, who are on a bye this week in Premier Lacrosse, but no joke, this is my favorite sweatshirt ever. So comfortable, and I got it dirty again, so I have to wash it. But the perk is that I'm at my parents' house and I can do laundry for free. Yes, in New York City, you have to do your laundry at the laundromats or whatever. Anyway, Ben Stevens joining the show today. If you guys are OGs, then you would know that Ben and I hosted the morning after on Sports Grid for about a year or two. We did great. We loved it. I ended up leaving, and now Ben left. So he's with Lisa now. Very excited to get his thoughts on week 0 coming up this weekend. We've got college football starting next week for week 1. He's going to give us not only his week 0 picks, props. We've also got college football futures that you could get in before the season begins. I've, of course, got Major League Baseball action. Not as much today, but do have a lot of hitter props that really stood out. A lot of unders today. A couple of overs, a bunch of unders. Our fishing line sucked yesterday. So I'm going to do fishing lines live because it ended up doing well last time we did it live. Got propaganda in the NFL. Some of the props that are the most bet on futures. My friend just texted me, Sammy P, if you don't know him. Holy shit, Penn Station's huge. Yeah, it is. I don't know. Also, my sister asked me today to help her with her fantasy football draft, and I told her, no. Don't sign up for drafts if you don't like fantasy football. I feel bad, and I know she's just trying to. Marley's here. Hi, Marley. Say hi. Say hi. She wants to play. But I'm sorry, but this is I know this is probably not nice because we should make everyone feel involved. If you don't like fantasy football, don't even try. Don't bother me with your fantasy football draft. I don't even like to draft my own fantasy team. Don't bother me asking me to draft your team for you. And then you're going to lose anyway because you clearly don't know what you're doing. You don't understand the game. You don't understand fantasy. If you understood anything about fantasy, the only way that you probably win your league is waiver wire. Unless your league is so bad, usually the only way to win is through the waiver wire. So if you're not going to be proactive about your fantasy league, then why am I sitting here drafting for you for 2 hours? It's a waste of my time, and you participating in fantasy is a waste of your time. You've got to be active. So I told her I'm out. She said she really wants me, she just wants me on call, and I said I'd help her here and there, but now I have to pick up my parents anyway from their rental car place, so she's on her own. Sorry, Alexa. Fantasy sports is like poker. Nobody wants to hear about your game unless they are in it. Correct. And the problem is nobody, it is enough of a hassle for all of us to have to maintain our own leagues. I'm not only in a few fantasy leagues that are season long. I'm in a Guillotine fantasy league. I have DFS. I do Splash Sports contest. I have Survivor contest. I have Pick'em contest. Plus just my average day-to-day gambling stuff. I have a lot of things that I have to keep in order during football season. Her fantasy team is not one of them. I've helped her draft every year, and every year she's got open spots available. She doesn't have, she has an injured running back on the team. I'm go to the waiver wire. She's can you speak English? You don't know what the waiver wire is? Don't play. She's been doing this league now for a few years. If you are interested, learn. If not, I don't want to waste another 2 hours of my time drafting. Put my sister on the show. Maybe next time we're home together, I'll have her on. She'll bark back. She's a very nice person to everyone not named Ariel Epstein. Everyone else, she's a sweetheart. Me, sisters. But yeah, No, I have no interest. And my dad sits there and he talks about his fantasy team all the time. And I'm like, I don't care, Dad. I literally don't care. You're like, it's not like you're gonna win 20 grand from this league. You win like what, 1,500 bucks? Cool. 2 grand? Cool. My sister is younger than me. Does my sister have sports takes? She loves the Rangers. I'll give her that. She probably knows more about hockey than I do. She really likes hockey in the last few years. She's gotten into it. So my sister, yeah, she could talk about the Rangers, but I don't know if she. My sports take is that she shouldn't be drafting a freaking fantasy team. Sorry, you don't like sports. Don't make me do it, and then don't sit there and not pay attention. Anyway, the thing that was more frustrating about my day is Lamar Jackson. I didn't think I'd have to deal with this problem until September. No, December. I know every day that Lamar takes a breath, we're also taking 10,000 breaths for every one breath that Lamar breathes. But I really have no interest in hearing about Lamar leaving practice early. So apparently someone stepped on his toe. And the media makes this whole big deal that he has like a broken wrist. I know. I got to get up. It's not even football season yet. I need to get off social media. I have to ban myself because you people on social media, like you're not even there and you're tweeting that Lamar like broke his wrist because he left out practice, like what, holding his hand. I'm done with all of you people. Sean, what are you saying? Ariel in the WNBA? What do you mean? Now we know how everyone. I don't know what you're talking about, Sean. What are you talking about? The WNBA. You're not speaking English again today. She is a brat. My mom's probably watching. She's in the car coming home. I'm not saying that. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, so Lamar apparently is fine. Today, later on in the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the we'll do some propaganda, and I'm going to surprise Ben Stevens, who's coming on soon. I'm going to surprise him with a few things with propaganda, and he probably doesn't even know what. Marley, out of the plant. Thanks, Sean. Marley she is on one today. I almost lost her. She almost got hit by a car because she raced out of my door on the leash. I was about to walk her. She was so fast. She almost pulled my shoulder out of its socket, running out the door to go for a walk. I had to walk him before it rained. It is disgusting here in New York, but it was chilly out this morning, so it does feel like football season. I'm super pumped about it. Other things in the news today, like going 1-1 in pitcher props this afternoon. We hit the under on Chris Bassett on the road and his outs prop, under 17.5 outs. It was way too high. So it took the under there. If you're on the propqueen.com newsletter, premium subscribers, and the over 5.5 Ks did not cash for Framber Valdez. So from here on out, Framber Valdez is only a play to the over when he is at home. We no longer bet Framber Valdez on the road. He has a play to the over at home only. That is why his number was 5.5 and not 6.5 today against Detroit, because he sucked. He sucked. Just like our fishy line yesterday, sucked. We had the Yankees, and guess what? The Yankees hit a record number of home runs. So today we are going to go live for fishy lines, and we're going to figure them out ourselves if there are any. The only other funny thing that happened in my life today, remember how the Little League World Series said they don't like anything, like they don't want people betting on the Little League? Well, I had a few friends text me today that they like Connecticut, Fairfield. So if you like Fairfield or Connecticut, whatever, for the Little League World Series, and it didn't happen already, go have a good time. I laughed at him because I was like, that is bad karma for betting on kids. Anyway, we're going to bet on kids because, well, I guess most college kids are 18 plus. We're going to bet on college football. We've got week 0 coming up this weekend. And if you guys are OGs, you know that this guy was my co-host. We woke up early in the mornings, not really together. That was awkward. He's a married man. But we did wake up early in the morning and we were talking to each other for 3 hours a day and we never got sick of each other. We went to college together. That's how far back we go. And we are not going to be betting on Syracuse, even though he probably is going to say that they won't be as bad as our basketball team. So give it up for Big Ten Ben Stevens. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ariel. Great to be with you. Yes, that was a lovely intro. Thank you for spelling it out very clearly to the audience that we did not wake up together in the same place, but virtually to host a morning show together.
Yeah, it would be a little bit awkward considering you are like married now and everything.
Engaged.
But in times of COVID, we were up early in the COVID times together.
Very. Yes.
And listen, I rely on you all the time for college football stuff. I'm glad your schedule has now allowed a little bit of time for us here at the show. So Ben is going to be on Beeston throughout the football season, talking all things college football. We've got week 0 coming up, which I'm super pumped about. And we have a massive game for that noon game on Saturday in Ireland between Iowa State and K-State, which I should have been at, but whatever, that's besides the point. What are you thinking about this game? I mean, it's pretty important.
Overall, I'm incredibly excited because, Ariel, it's the first time in more than 20 years that we have a ranked versus ranked top 25 game from the very start during week 0. And I am sure that those that you are close with will be wearing their purple over across the pond in Dublin. But it is huge for Kansas State, and there's huge Big 12 implications from the very start. Both of these teams expected to be in that conference championship race, both expected to contend for what feels like a very wide open Big 12 title once again in 2025. Is the Big 12 the best conference in college football? Probably not. I think that's for debate between the Big 10 and the SEC, and they certainly have debated all offseason long. But Ariel, I really do believe the Big 12 might be the most fun or highly competitive conference throughout the entirety of this year. There's 6 teams right now, separated by only $1 to win the conference championship before we get underway in week 0, and Iowa State just barely behind with the 7th best price to win the Big 12 title in 2025. So it's a very exciting week 0 opener over in Ireland.
This game should be filled with a ton of fans that apparently are from Iowa State, that Kelly said Iowa State is filling Ireland at the moment and they are not showing up, but we will see. And I was very excited because you gave me some props for week 0, and Prop Queen had to come on the show, give some props out. Why you liking this Avery Johnson over 47.5 rushing yards?
Back in the day, we would do something up top here and
shimmy
a shoulder. No doubt about it. So let's start with that over, right? Over 49.5, 50 plus points. Really, when you look at the Big 12 this season, so much veteran experience at the quarterback spot returning. I think we're going to see the old days of the Big 12, maybe not quite the 55-50 games that we had maybe in 2016 or 2015 with Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. But because you have those quarterbacks back, and for both of these teams, for the Clones, it's Rocco Becht. He was the 3rd leading passer last year in the Big 12. For K-State, it's Avery Johnson, who was slightly disappointing, at least based on those Heisman aspirations entering 2024 a year ago, but still incredibly solid, a dynamic athlete at that quarterback spot. You have great quarterbacks back. Both defenses struggling, at least based on a relative understanding of these two programs under Chris Kleiman in the Little Apple, under Matt Campbell there in Ames. I think we can get at least 50 points from the very start, relying on the quarterbacks and all that returns production-wise offensively as the defenses figure themselves out. And so in that similar vein, let's go to Avery Johnson. I said a dynamic athlete at the quarterback spot, over 47.5 rushing yards. Last year, he had the 2nd most rushing yards of any quarterback in the Big 12. So I look at Avery Johnson for K-State doing something similar against a Cyclones defense area that was absolutely awful last year defending the run. More than 188 yards per game allowed. The worst mark for Matt Campbell in Ames since his very first year there nearly a decade ago. And this is a team that often ranks in the top 25 in terms of defending the run. In the 7 full seasons in that span that I mentioned, Matt Campbell's very first year in Ames, Iowa, back in 2015, and now this past season in 2024, in those 7 full years, Iowa State had a top 25 rushing offense 5 of those 7 seasons. So very uncharacteristic for the Clones defensively a year ago. So I'll go with Avery Johnson over 47.5 rushing yards. You always got to be very careful when you bet on a quarterback collegiately in terms of his rushing yards prop. But Iowa State just 16 total sacks last year, only 21 total sacks in 2023. The sack yardage collegiately works against the QB's rushing yards number, not the same like it is in the NFL.
It's always hard the first week of a season because you're trying to figure out, okay, how much of last year's team is similar to this year's team? Is it going to be the same defense that we have to expose? But I feel like one sure bet a lot of the time for the first week of the year is rushing yards in many capacities, because at least you don't want to be throwing the football too much if you're not in that game day form yet. Does that have something to do with the early stages of the year?
Yeah, it's really interesting as well. And I think it's a good point that you bring up when you're trying to find, especially in today's current climate, what returning production looks like. How do you find that turnover year over year or the congruency year over year that gives you at least some sort of comfortability or familiarity with that roster and how things look? I think defense is a great place to start. So if your defense was good last year and you return a ton of that production, then you should at least have a stable footing entering a new season. When the defense was bad and there's still some gaps to fill, or even a lot of those guys back on a bad defense, you can expect year over year improvement. But when it's bad to start, maybe it takes them a few weeks to find their footing, and thus you can look to expose some of those similar trends that you had a season ago. I will say the props market in college football has gotten so much sharper now in 2025, even last year in 2024, than it was in 2022 or 2023. You could really find some pretty substantial edges. Not so much anymore. So you're going at the very start for a guy like Avery Johnson, who has proven 6 games last year, Ariel, with 10 plus carries on the ground in all 6 of those games. He had at least 10 attempts. He had at least 57 yards on the ground, averaged 74 per game, including in Farmageddon to end the season last year against that bad defense for Iowa State. So that's where I start trusting in Avery Johnson to utilize all of his dynamic tools that make him such a great athlete at the quarterback spot.
Shawn Michaels said, and he's always on the show, and that's definitely not what he looked like. Can we get a pick ATS for the K-State game since they can't bet college player props?
I would lean with the over because I understand, again, that you do not have those college player props and not many places do, and they're further cracking down. I think the number is really solid where it is at 3. It's been up to 3.5. Could you have found a better number there on Iowa State? Because I think this game is decided by a single possession. If it's a single possession game, could we keep it under a field goal? Perhaps. I really do look right now where things stand for Kansas State with all of their returning production, with some consistency at the quarterback spot and expected improvement for Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards in the backfield as well, and a defense that wasn't terrible last year, allowing more than 23 points per game, but just not up to the standard we often see in Manhattan under Chris Kleiman. I think Kansas State wins. I think it's a single possession game. The number of 3 in college football, not nearly as key as it is in the National Football League. So I guess then, Sean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, maybe K-State -3. But if you don't have player props, I'd bet the over of 49.5.
Kelly would be happy to hear that. She said it's either she wears K-State and doesn't bet the game, or she has to bet K-State, which we all know Kelly is not going to not bet that game. Like, that has to happen. And Alex, at least you know Ben knows about the dog situation here.
For sure.
He was very, very in the 3-hour window of dogs and my brother being homeschooled essentially during COVID. So he knows all the distractions, like my brother not waking up in time for class. So that was fun when he was in 7th grade. Now he's in college. That's how long ago that was, just to age you. Fresno State is taking on the other Kansas teams. So KU and Fresno State catching 13.5. Why are you taking the points?
So when you look at Kansas, a team that really should have some optimism, Jalen Daniels back once again, a quarterback that should have a high ceiling in Lawrence that has never really lived up to it after being the 2023 Big 12 preseason player of the year, was injured in 2023, wasn't great in 2024. And KU's season was absolutely wild. They got off to a 1-5 start. They won 4 of their next 5. They caused absolute mayhem and chaos to the Big 12, winning 3 consecutive games, booked as an underdog against BYU, Iowa State, and Colorado. That really changed the entire scope of the Big 12 championship race. And I think there is some reason to be high on the Jayhawks being around a 7 or 8 win football team this year. And really with how deep the Big 12 could be and how competitive the conference race is, as KU exemplified a season ago, they could be in it come early November. And I do think they win at home on Saturday against Fresno State. But when I look at the Bulldogs, there's a lot to like. They return a lot of talent defensively, especially in the backfield. And when you look at the new head coach there in Fresno, it's Matt Entz, who won 2 national championships as the head coach in Fargo for North Dakota State, and then kind of shocked everybody by taking a job last year as the linebackers coach at USC. He goes to the FBS level, works as an assistant, and then very quickly gets that promotion back to a head coach. He's a winner, and I trust what he will bring to this Fresno State program. And they've got a lot of experience on the offensive side of the ball. E.J. Warner, familiar name. Kurt's son, who has a lot of starting experience at Temple and at Rice, takes over as the quarterback for Fresno State. I think Fresno State just keeps this game within 2 touchdowns. I know it's 13.5, but only 3 times for the Bulldogs, booked as an underdog of 13-plus points in the last 6 years. since 2018. They have covered in all 3 of those games, including against Michigan to start off last season, keeping that game under 3 touchdowns. So, Ariel, when I look at Fresno State, I think KU wins. KU could even win by double digits. I don't think they win by 2 touchdowns. I think Fresno State can keep it within a single possession or at least a 2-score game, a touchdown and a field goal.
Jimmy in 34 made me laugh. He said key number in college football is 17.
True.
It's about right.
Yep.
No, especially these first few weeks of the season. It's like how many points is too many points, but 13.5 is actually kind of low in the first few weeks of the college football season.
True.
You've got a Hawaii play here for their receiver, receiving yard prop at 68.5. Why are we going to Hawaii?
I love this play, and I'm sorry for all of those that do not have a college player prop option on whatever sports book they are betting on.
It's fine. They'll get over it.
Yeah, they'll be all right. Nick Senecal, the wide receiver for Hawaii, over 68.5. Stanford, Hawaii, the only thing is it should be at midnight Eastern, not 7:30 p.m. Eastern. But, hey, we'll start off the mainland and have some fun in week 0. When you look at Hawaii, a team under Timmy Chang that had won 5 games each of the last 2 seasons that I expect to be pretty good out there in Honolulu this year. And they had a freshman quarterback by the name of Michael Alejado that was sensational in the 2 starts that he made at the end of last year, including in that full career start that he had against New Mexico, final game of the year, 469 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, playing against a Stanford team now, both of those records, by the way, for a true freshman in his first career start. A Stanford defense that was atrocious, 4th worst in FBS a season ago in terms of passing yards allowed. And like I said, the prop numbers in college football so much sharper now than they once were. I thought maybe we'd get Alejado at around a 275.5, even a pretty substantial number for a college quarterback. Nope, it's already at 300, 298.5 basically. So instead of looking at his passing yards prop, expecting him to flirt with that number, let's go to his wide receivers. And one of his top targets, Nick Senecal, was back. He had 96 yards and a touchdown in that one true start that Alejado made at the end of last year against New Mexico. I expect him to be a top target for the Rainbow Warriors all year long. Let's see that in week 0 against the Stanford team, coached by Frank Reich, with the general manager in Andrew Luck. A lot to like on paper, and I believe they will chart a positive path in Palo Alto eventually, Ariel, but not to start. Very difficult schedule for Stanford. Hawaii is a favorite at home, which is kind of crazy just for Hawaii to be a favorite against a power conference team. But I do think because we will see some passing yardage, but the number on Alejado is a little bit high. Let's go to his top target, Nick Senecal.
I was at my old day camp, and one of the administrators there said that their daughter is going to Hawaii, which I've never really heard of someone, especially from the East Coast, going to school at Hawaii. So then it got me thinking, and I don't regret going to Syracuse. A lot of great things happened to me for going to Syracuse.
Heck yeah.
It did have me thinking how stupid I was as a kid, though, to go to Syracuse when for 4 years I could have done something so cool, like go to school at Hawaii.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a beautiful place. And they're building they're building the stadium now on campus once again. They're going to get it back. It's going to be beautiful. It overlooks the ocean because everything does when you're off the mainland. I mean, we're going to be throwing the football all year under Timmy Chang. Last year, Brendan Shager, who was their quarterback, a little bit disappointing because he put up huge numbers in 2023 for the Rainbow Warriors, and those kind of tempered throughout the season, leading to Alejado getting that start at the end. We're talking big offensive numbers all year long. I think we're going to be around 300 passing yards, hopefully, for the freshman lefty who made that one career start, and we'll see it from the very beginning. Again, when you have Senecal, who was one of his top targets in one game, being the top target from the very start of a new season, this is where I think you get that slightly depressed number that might start to build if you have player prop options throughout the year.
And if you're going to get this NIL money and they're willing to get some money out there in Hawaii, like, just go to Hawaii.
For sure.
That's sick.
100%.
That's so, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, they're clearly getting some money out there. They're building stadiums. They're getting good players. All of a sudden, Hawaii's on the map.
I think they've had some issues with NIL funding, or at least an athletic director that was like stealing money from the university in the last few years. But yeah, I hope they're on a much better path.
Hey, it's like kind of okay to cheat these days in college football. Jim Harbaugh did it right. He cheated and then he went to the NFL.
100%. Who cares if you have a show cause when you're never coming back to college football?
It was a genius move.
For sure. Come on.
And so before I get to your futures, you know that I went to Penn State before I went to Syracuse.
I do, yes.
There's one thing I learned at Penn State, only one. Penn State can't win the big game. And everybody and their mother seems to be very high on Penn State this year. And it doesn't matter if his name's Christian Hackenberg. It doesn't matter if it's Bill O'Brien. And it doesn't matter if it's James Franklin. And it doesn't matter if it's Drew Aller.
Yeah.
Nobody wins the big game in Nittany Lion uniform. But this year, everyone says it's the year. How much do you believe that?
It's a great question. I believe it enough to at least say they will be in the college football playoff quarterfinal round. Can they get back to the semis? Perhaps. I don't think they'll have as favorable of a path back to the semifinals as they did last year, even as that top at-large team. Though they were the 6th seed, and they had a great draw because they had SMU and then Boise State. It was the 3 seed. That would have, of course, changed based on the straight seeding format. But to your point, getting back to the CFP quarters, or maybe even the CFP semis, but coming up short in the Final Four round, I don't think would be considered a successful season for Penn State. In fact, I think it would be rather disappointing because the narrative didn't change on Penn State getting to the college football playoff semifinal in the first year of 12 last season. They lost in the Big Ten championship game against Oregon. They were the beneficiary of Ohio State losing as a 3-touchdown favorite at home against Michigan. To have that opportunity even to play in the game against the Ducks, it was maybe more competitive than some thought, and the offense produced, but still came up short. Right. And then you get to the college football playoff semifinal with a wonderful opportunity against Notre Dame, both before the game, throughout the game, in the second half for Drew Aller when he had opportunities to make plays and didn't. And they came up short against an AP top 5 team. We know the numbers. James Franklin versus AP top 10 foes in his 11 years in state college. 4-20 straight up against top 5 AP ranked opponents. Now 1-15. After the loss to the Irish in the college football playoff semifinal. So to your point, Ariel, yes, I believe they are going to be back. I don't think Penn State's going to be an 8-win team who misses out on the college football playoff or even a 9-win team. I think they'll be there and at least win a game in the college football playoff, if not maybe even win the Big Ten and get that opening round bye. But just because they could get there or to the second round does not necessarily mean it's a successful season. I really think it's national championship game at minimum or bust. And maybe even just national championship or bust based on all they return this year and what the expectations are in Happy Valley.
The expectation in Clemson is always to win, win, win. And you expect them to at least win the ACC this year, which almost feels a little public because everyone in the ACC seemingly seems to suck. But why are you so sure about Clemson?
So I bet Clemson back in the early portion of May at a plus 140 price. They're priced now to win the ACC closer to even money. There are a couple teams I am very high on that because I love college football and I start looking at these numbers as soon as they become readily available. Not to pat myself on the back, but
you can. It's your job. You can.
It's just more so that everybody is now super public on certain teams. Clemson is basically going to be minus money. The odds makers haven't moved the Tigers' win total from 9.5 to 10.5, despite 9.5 having juice on the over from the very start. And now at last check, it's like minus 215 to the over of 9.5. So again, I've been on Clemson for a while. I think Clemson is not just going to win the ACC as they have done in down years. They have won the conference championship 8 of the previous 10 seasons. I do think there is value in Clemson at 11-1, and that was 15-1 just a few weeks ago, about a month ago, to win a national championship. Because again, that is that ceiling. That is the expectation for the Tigers, who finally figured it out offensively last year. Garrett Riley, the OC, Cade Klubnik came on in a strong way. He is back, one of the best returning quarterbacks in all of college football. It was the defense that had been the calling card for Clemson under Dabo Swinney the last 5 to 7 years that really, really struggled. So they make a change in the defensive coordinator spot. They bring in Tom Allen, and he has a lot of talent to work with on the defensive side of the football. So yes, it is kind of public now where it stands, but I do believe that Clemson wins the ACC. If you want to go further and you want a better price on the Tigers, 11-1 to win a national championship, although that number has reduced in the last few weeks, or maybe even Cade Klubnik, although I never advise betting one of the 3 or 5 best prices to win a Heisman Trophy. To win the Heisman Trophy would be another way to look at Clemson this year.
Everyone in the chat seems really excited about Maction. Everybody is like, oh my God, we've got Mac. I know Maction looks a little different, but you like Toledo to win the MAC. Why?
I do like Toledo to win the MAC because of what Jason Candle has built there in Toledo, Ohio. When you look at the MAC, the one conference this year, Ariel, in the offseason, year to year, that lost the most talent. It is basically a minor league system. It is a hotbed for power conferences, certainly in the Midwest portion of the country, to pluck talent and elevate them through the transfer portal. Toledo has the most returning production in all of the Mid-American Conference, and Toledo has Tucker Gleason back at the quarterback spot as well. So when you're going to tell me that I know what I have in a team that got the double-digit wins and beat Pitt in a bowl game at the end of last year, with its quarterback back, with a head coach in Jason Candle that's been there for damn near a decade and has been incredibly consistently successful at the helm. And then I tried to look at the schedule for the Rockets. I like what I am seeing based on where Toledo is. That plus 190 price for the Rockets, who, again, are the favorites to win the MAC, but that plus 190 price feels pretty good to me. Miami of Ohio should be there. The Ohio Bobcats should be there as well. But I like Toledo, consistency in the quarterback spot, some really good talent on the defensive side of the football as well. And at least to start, the most familiar faces back in terms of returning production there for the Rockets. Give me Toledo to win the MAC at a plus 190 price.
I love it. A little bit of action. Before we play a little game, I do want to get your thoughts on any win totals that you like in college football.
Ooh, so many. Again, much like the Clemson bet, a lot of these numbers are now gone. Illinois over 7.5. I would even take them over 8.5. But if you're going to go over 8.5, go to 10 plus wins. Illinois, another one of those teams, Ariel, that everybody now seems to love. They're ranked 12th in the preseason AP poll. But I was on Illinois dating back to the end of last season after the victory in the Citrus Bowl against South Carolina. Way too early 2025 rankings. I said if Illinois is not in your top 15, heck, even top 10, you're doing it wrong. They're in the AP poll in that top 15 at number 12. I think there's a chance at a plus 540 price that if you have a 10-win Big Ten football team, they have a chance to reach the college football playoff. So I'm very high on Illinois. I remain high on Illinois despite their win total going higher and higher. Another one that hasn't moved much, and the juice is still pretty hefty on the over, but a little bit more palatable. I think it's minus 140, something of the sort, is Georgia Tech. I think the Yellow Jackets have a great chance of playing Clemson in that ACC championship game. The backfield of Haynes King, the quarterback, Jamal Haynes, the running back, they are both back. They bring back Malik Rutherford as well, who is very, very heavily targeted in the transfer portal. And what Brent Key has done as an underdog in his first 2.5 years as the head coach there in Atlanta to what I expect now to be more of a favorable path in the ACC, booked as a favorite often. I'll take the Bees to go over 7.5, 8, maybe even 9 wins. And then a couple in the SEC that have started to move as well. I got them both at the over 6.5, both grueling gauntlet type schedules. Oklahoma and Florida got OU over 6.5, Florida over 6.5, both now at 7.5 with juice on the under. Still like them both, but of course I like 7 and 5 a lot better than I do 8 and 4. So those are some of the win totals I have early on.
This game that I like to play, we're going to transfer to the NFL a little bit, but it's talking rookie of the year. And that's because I can't really break down rookie of the year as well as you can because you're so ingrained in college football. Everyone here on the show knows that I don't do college. I bring friends on to do college. So I play this game, and it's called Propaganda. So basically, BetMGM sends over the most bet on props, the most bet on sides, and we talk about baiting the public. So let's get to it. It's my favorite stinger. Propaganda! I just look for an excuse to use it every time.
That's great. You're great with your stingers, you know, and your animation for the video animation as we get into it. I like it.
Well, I was told I have to find something better for Royal Locks from my good friend Nick Costos. He's like, you got to do something like Till Bet Do Us Part with Royal Locks. But like Till Bet Do Us Part was a song.
Yeah, it's
okay. So it just flowed. But okay. Yeah. BetMGM for offensive rookie of the year. I think this is ridiculous. It's got Shedeur Sanders as their highest ticket count, highest handle, biggest liability. The leader is Ashton Jeanty at plus 260. Like, Shedeur Sanders in a 4-quarterback room potentially in Cleveland is such a dumb bet. Like, why is the public all over Shedeur?
Because of the name, right? And I don't know if this was, it's very dumb, right? But that was the case with Colorado last year, the most bet on team to win a national championship. It's just how the public feels. Listen, they've said that the Browns could roster all 4 quarterbacks. I would be shocked if that was the case. And I don't really think that tuning Cleveland, despite the very impressive preseason opening performance out of Shedeur Sanders, has really changed on where he is in
And
that
he's got a
quarterback
hamstring
room.
injury now.
Yeah, so I would not do that. The odds leader in Ashton Genty makes some sense at plus 260. Why? Because when you bet on a quarterback to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, they often have to be CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels good. And when I mean that, it's not just individual performance, it's how successful the teams are. They are making the playoffs. They are getting to areas deeper into the postseason that we have not seen these organizations in years past. We have now seen 4 quarterbacks in the last 6 years win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray were kind of anomalies. They were 2 of 4 quarterbacks who had won it in a decade prior. It is often a skill position player like a Genty because he can be great individually and the accolades can be there, and the Raiders can still be 7-10. Whether fair or not, we ascertain team success with individual success, namely at the quarterback spot. So if Cam Ward is even decent, but the Titans are 5-12, he's not going to get the bump that Stroud and Daniels do. He would have to be really, really good. I think he can be, but I just don't know enough about Brian Callahan as a head coach to really buy into it. So I understand where Ashton Genty comes in, booked with the shortest price.
Who's somebody on the offensive player side that, as a rookie, you are pretty high on coming in?
Keep an eye on Luther Burden for the Chicago Bears. They love him in Chicago. Love him. And what he has done so far in Ben Johnson's offense, I think only takes a further step. If Caleb Williams is good, that means that everybody is good offensively. If Ben Johnson is the guy that we expect him to be, then that's how we get to Luther Burden. I think last I saw was like a crazy long number. I'm not checking the daily odds outside of college football as much as I once did when I hosted a daily morning sports talk show. But I would keep an eye on Luther Burden in terms of a longer price where you have a skill position player, not a quarterback, because they don't need any of that team success that QBs often do.
And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, this is no surprise at all that Abdul Carter is the most public Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
How much of this is a stay away market for you since Abdul Carter is probably not bettable?
Yeah, his price is incredibly short. It's not too terribly short. It is often Defensive Rookie of the Year, an edge rusher more than it is a defensive back, somebody that can get after the quarterback, of course, that has the stats and those numbers to back it up. When you look at these numbers, that's incredibly publicly heavy on one single individual that still might not be that guy that ends up winning it, even with a successful year. There's also really good players on that Giants D-line in Brian Burns, in Dexter Lawrence that could take up some of the production of others. If you were looking at an edge rusher that is not named Abdul Carter, maybe you go to the likes of Michael Williams for San Francisco. The 49ers should be better. They have to replace some of that talent along the defensive line we have seen the last few years. Javon Hargrave, Javon Kinlaw. You have a guy out of Georgia that was injured a lot of last year and still have pretty good sack numbers. I think if the Niners are as good as we expect them to be once again this season, Michael Williams can make some sense.
Ben, I've kept you way longer than I really thought that I would. As always, since we know how to fill 3 hours, we could definitely fill 20 minutes. Ben Stevens, what are you up to these days? Where can people find your work?
Working at VSiN, like you mentioned, I'll be hosting college football coverage. I believe still needs to be solidified the exact time, but should be that noon to 3 p.m. Eastern spot each and every Saturday for those live bets and all the fun of following along with college football. Starting a new Big Ten breakdown show. They call me Big Ten Ben, so I'll be doing that as a YouTube venture with some guys that I know from Omaha. Very excited. First episode out on Friday morning, and then just a bunch of other places, and we'll see where things land.
I'm so excited. Ben Stevens, thanks as always. Can't wait to have you on again soon.
Thank you, Ariel. Great to be back with you.
As always. I'm so glad that I had that little reunion, and I'm still a bad producer, but I'm getting better. Thank you to Ben for that and for being part of the show for way longer than that was 20 minutes. Felt like an eternity. Oh, what? Oh, sorry that you guys want action tonight. Okay. We've got action for tonight. Don't you worry. I'm going to come on with MLB right now. I do have a few screenshots that I need to add. I know I just want to get some week 0 in. We had week 0 coming up, and if I didn't touch on week 0, Sean would be all over my case. Oh, I think we have football this week. Oh, why don't we have any football? Blah, 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 blah. So I've got some offensive player props. I don't have any pitcher props for tonight because it really wasn't anything. But for hitter props, we've got some action. I'll do good and bad matchups first. Share screen. Share. Newsletter. There we go. Okay, so for today's newsletter, these are the matchups to watch according to props.cash props as well below. So good matchups. Actually, so these matchups are from MLB, and the props below it are props.cash saying like these are the most likely to cash for these individual players. Starting with Ozzy Albies, who's 7 for 9 with 2 doubles and 2 homers against Martin Perez, a lefty. So Albies over 1.5 singles is minus 130. I think it's at, hold on, let me double check that that's 1.5 singles. That sounds kind of high. It might be a half a single. Ozzy Albies. 1 single. Yeah, it's over a half a single. That's wrong. Over a half a single is minus 130. So Albies has gotten over a half a single. So he's gotten 1 single. So just a base hit. It can't be a double, it can't be a triple. 1 single. Albies has had in 66% of home games against Southpaws and 8 of the last 10. Mike Trout has a double and 2 homers and 22 at-bats against Nick Martinez. And Trout has gone over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI in 59% of home games against righties and 8 of the last 10. In fact, in those last 10 games, Trout's averaging 2.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Aaron Judge, he actually struggles against Drew Rasmussen, 1 for 9 with 6 strikeouts. His under 1.5 total bases if you want to do it, if you want to be crazy. He went under in 6 of the last 10 road games against righties, 12 of the last 20. It's juiced to minus 122, guys. So maybe it's not Judge's day. I mean, after like a 9-homer day, like you've got to imagine the Yankees regress, right? Anthony Volpe, 0 for 9 with 6 Ks against Rasmussen. His under half a single. He's hit in 70% of road games against righties and 8 of the last 10. Matt Olson also struggles against the lefty Martin Perez, hitting 2 for 13 with a double and a K. His under 1.5 total bases cashed in 72% of home games at night against lefties and 14 of the last 20. And Brian Hayes, he's 3 for 5 with a home run against Yusei Kikuchi. I don't know why that's there. See, good thing I do this with you guys because I catch all my typos in the newsletter before it goes out. So thanks for saving my ass. So those are your good and bad matchups for tonight in Major League Baseball. I've got a few. Oh, and that's Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies. Hold on. Now I need to find where these other graphics are from today. I've got a couple other hitter props that you could look at from props.cash. After the Yankees thrashing the Rays last night. Yeah. I'm going to look, though, and see how the line moved. We'll do fishy lines next. So, Paul DeYoung. I wrote about him this morning in the premium newsletter. He's hitting 302 in August. And at home at night, he's averaging just under 2 total bases, going over in 7 of 9 games. So that's pretty good. He hasn't played that much this year, but recently pretty good. And against right-handers this year, DeYoung's averaging just under 2 total bases, going over this prop in 67% of games in 9 of the last 10. And another hitter prop you could look at for tonight is William Contreras. So Contreras is going up against the Cubs. He's hitting 301 this month. In Contreras' last 10 games, he's averaging 2.5 hits, runs, and RBI. It's a small sample size, but he's 3 for 3 with a double and a ribby in his career against Colin Ray. So you could go with the over hits, runs, and RBI for William Contreras. When Cuse won what? Which exactly when? I was there when Cuse went to the Final Four in 2016. That was a fun day. I went to Houston, got to cover it as student media. It was a really cool experience. So I'm going to get some fishy lines up. Let's look at how the lines moved from last night to right now. We're doing this live in case you're just tuning in. So a couple days ago, I did fishy lines live. And we cashed. Like, no problem. It was like that Orioles-Astros game where the line moved 20 cents against the Astros, I think. And we were like, what the hell? Like, and we ended up, oh, you want to see the Cuse media video? Oh, boy. I have to find that. I think it's on my hard drive. I could show you guys Cuse stuff on a boring day. I guess today is kind of a boring day, but whatever. We're talking props. We're talking fishy lines. We're talking making money. Yeah, I think it's on my hard drive, which is in the city. I don't have time to look this up right now. I'm not gonna like waste your time sitting here looking up. But if you go to Ariel Epstein on YouTube and you go all the way back, you'll see like really old videos. So you can check that out. Okay, fishy lines. So why don't I have FanDuel up? I must have X'd out of all my tabs. What are you guys saying? 2016 Ariel would make my day. I mean, if you want to see it, hold on. I'll look. I mean, I have like 1,300 people watching right now. I don't think that people really want to sit here and watch me look up stuff from, okay, so let's see, switch account. I guess I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know if it's on here though, so we're going to see. But if you guys want to see young Ariel, oh boy. Shawn Michael makes me do crazy things. Yeah, that hard drive is gonna be where I find it. I don't, unless I hid it on my YouTube page. I probably hid it because it's so embarrassing. A lot of videos on here. Let's go all the way back. Oh boy. All the way back. The real stuff, the real dirty stuff is on this YouTube because I have stuff from like, oh my God. Okay, I do have it. You guys really want to watch my college reel? Okay, I'll show it to you. This is my, it's a boring day today. I'll get to fishy lines after. I don't know if you can hear audio though, if I play a YouTube. So chat, you're gonna have to tell me if you could hear the audio when I share this. Let's see, add stage. Okay. Tell me if you could hear it. Wait, is this not playing? It's not playing. This is not playing. YouTube does not like sharing. Oh, you know why? Because it's on private. Wow, that thing is good. It's on private, so it won't share on here. Oh no, you guys are gonna make me make this public? Oh no. That's pretty impressive, YouTube. I'm impressed. Okay, I'll make it public. Just for the sake of the show. Public. Done. Save. Now will it share? No, it's still not sharing. You guys are insane. Okay, let's see. Stop sharing. Share screen. Share. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, there it is. Oh, maybe because there's a new tab. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it.
Michael Benajay, Trevor Cooney, and now maybe Malachi Richardson wiped off the Syracuse roster for next season.
Fans were given t-shirts with the seniors' names on it, but what was more important was the 83-73 victory that the Syracuse team walked away with.
A little concerned with injuries for all three, but if they stay healthy, it will be a triple threat backfield for Gang Green.
How do you feel doing all of these nice things for all these great causes?
Well, I mean, that's what Hope Week is all about.
When we asked Malachi that question, Benajay said, well, he was just a little angry because he hasn't gotten his hair cut yet. So there was definitely some jokes going on in the locker room.
It was another memorable weekend in the Bronx as the Yankees honored not one but two former players. On Saturday, the Yankees retired Jorge Posada's number 20.
Heading into this season after such a successful year last year, especially for you personally, you led the team in scoring. Where have you seen yourself improve in the offseason?
He's coming fresh off his second MAC championship win with Bowling Green, and before that was his first head coaching job with Eastern Illinois, where he groomed Jimmy Garoppolo, who's now the backup quarterback for Tom Brady on the New England Patriots. Kayla Trainer has had one of the best careers in program history, and just like great athletes do, she left her home turf for the last time in legendary style.
Oh God, it is so bad. I mean, it's not horrible, but like that's a demo reel. Like I wasn't gonna put bad stuff out there, but it's a demo reel, so it was meant to be good. I have some other embarrassing stuff from back in the day. I'm curious if I have other. But I'm going to tell you guys, there is one thing that you will have to see. My sister was dying laughing the other day because she forgot about this video existing. There was a time when I lived in North Carolina and I got taken out on the sidelines. And there is video of it. And my old sports director made me do a story on it. So the story is on YouTube. And I will show it to you at some point. I think next week I'll do it. Or I'll show it on Friday in honor of week 0. I have to figure out when. It's like a football thing. So it's very funny. And it's also it's really embarrassing. I'm not showing you 2 embarrassing videos in a day. I can't handle it. I will show you guys this video of me getting taken out on the sidelines on Friday. It'll be a Friday special. So make sure to tune in on Friday so that no, I'm not saving it for Coach. Coach is coming on tomorrow. Friday as a special, I will show you guys the video and the story of me getting taken out on the sidelines of a football game. And it'll be in honor of football season starting. And that A-Rod clip, by the way, funny story about the A-Rod clip. I was an intern for the Yankees in 2015, going into my senior year of college. The Yankees every year do something called Hope Week, which is every day they do a different voluntary action where they go to a town and they help out kids. And usually it's around kids, but it's all just charitable work that they do. That day, and it's not the whole team. They choose like 5-6 players. So that day, they chose Nathan Eovaldi, Cece Sabathia, Alex Rodriguez, Greg Bird. I'm trying to remember who else. Maybe 1 or 2 other players to bake cookies with like this, like for kids or something. So we're in the kitchen making cookies and the fire alarm goes off. But they don't want the players to go outside because they knew there was a crowd out there and they didn't want to put the Yankees in like harm's way by putting them in the public. So we stayed inside during this fire drill that like we knew there wasn't really a fire. It was probably just like smoke from the kitchen of like making the cookies. Of course, young and ambitious Ariel gives no craps that there's a fire alarm going on. So she takes it upon herself to go to A-Rod and say, hey, Alex, I'm graduating college next year and I really need something cool for my demo reel. Could you answer like 1 question for me just so it looks cool that I'm interviewing you for my reel when I graduate college? He said, of course. So in the middle of this fire alarm, making cookies for charitable reasons, I'm being a little selfish 21-year-old asking A-Rod to help my demo reel. So that is why A-Rod is in my college graduation demo reel. He did not ask for my number. No, he did not. I was young and I look young. Like then I was 21 and now I still look 21. So he probably thought I was like 15. Yes, I remember my Stony Brook days. No way. That's really sad. I do remember that. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, I do remember Elijah. I remember all those Stony Brook days and all those guys. Everybody was great. Very nice to me down there. But those were also brutal clips of me as well. So sorry about the passing of that Moonlight. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. 21. Yeah, everyone asks for my ID. Everybody. Okay, fishy lines. Let's get to some fishy lines of the day. If we have any, I don't even know. We're going to check it out live. So I'm going to look at how some of these line moves from yesterday. Afternoon games are already underway. So St. Louis and Miami's next. That line only really moved 2 cents. Mets line moved in favor of Senga and the Mets by 8 cents. Not that much. White Sox. That line moved 10 cents against the Braves. And I feel like a lot of people are on Waldrop today. So the line moved 10 cents against the Braves. Let me see where the public's at on that game. Going to the DraftKings splits. So, yeah, 89%. Oh, wait, that's money line. Yeah. 89% of handle and 86% of bets is on the Braves money line. And the line moved minus 190 to minus 180 on the now minus 178 on the Braves. That line just moved again. Let's see what MLB has to say about that game. Maybe we'll find some good nuggets. White Sox Braves. Aaron Savali was initially scheduled to start with the White Sox, but his start was pushed back to Friday. Martin Perez entering the rotation in place of Sean Burke, who was optioned to AAA. Perez made his return from a lengthy absence with a flexor strain last Wednesday, allowing 1 run, 3 1/3 of relief in a 1-0 loss to the Tigers. He hasn't started Martin Perez a game in the MLB since April 18th in Boston. Perez is 0-2 with a 9.69 ERA and 3 career starts against the Braves. Waldrop's won all 3 of his MLB appearances this season, 2 starts and 1 after an opener. He's only allowed 2 earned runs. Waldrop threw 6 shutout innings in a 2-0 win against Cleveland on Friday. His 95 pitches were his most thrown in an MLB game. So that's kind of concerning. Now, the White Sox bullpen sucks, but let's see MLB bullpen usage. I have a feeling Waldrop's not going deep because of 95 pitches. Atlanta's bullpen, pretty taxed. Looking at the bullpen, here, I'll share the screen with you guys. The Atlanta bullpen has used a lot of different arms recently. I like using this MLB bullpen usage from RotoWire. But look at how much red and yellow and orange is there. They've used a lot of arms in the last couple of days, the last 3 days, really. And if your pitcher has just gone 95 pitches his last start, which is a career high, you typically know that those pitchers aren't going long again. So I would be very wary of a 10-cent move on the Braves and Waldrop, just saying. So Sean Michael asked about when a line moves. So I know the people over at FanDuel, and I've asked them this question. FanDuel will only move lines for people they respect. So, like, when I was asking one of the head traders at the time a few years ago, I said, well, when do you move the line? Especially with such a public book like FanDuel with so much money coming in that is coming in digitally, unlike in Vegas where a lot of people will bet in person. But online, on FanDuel, like, it's hard to know. And he's like, yeah, we only will move lines for our big accounts. So when the line moved 10 cents or more, it's typically a lot of money coming in baseball. So I would just be wary of the Braves today. Yankees Rays, the Yankees stayed the same. That total also stayed the same. Athletics, Twins, the line moved minus 132 to minus 122. So the line's moving against the Twins. I mean, I don't trust JT Ginn, but the line is moving against Minnesota. The Twins have lost 10 straight games that Bailey Ober has started. He's 0-6 with a 6.47 ERA over that stretch. That includes his IL stint with the left hip impingement. He's walked just 3 of 147 batters he's faced over his last 6 starts. Ober's walked more than 1 in just 4 of his last 20. Ober allowed 3 runs on 4 hits in his last start against Detroit. The Twins have lost 4 or 5 games to open this homestand. They're hitting just 159 with runners in scoring position. So, Bailey Ober at home. People are betting again. Like, same. So, right now, the Twins are a fishy line. The Athletics getting the love there. And the Braves are a fishy line. The White Sox getting the love. What else? Texas, that game. Ooh, the Royals and Rangers game flipped a bit. The Rangers were favored last night, but it was a TBD on the pitcher. So never mind. That doesn't matter. That was a pitching change, so we don't care about that. Milwaukee, 8-cent move in favor of Mizrowski. No surprise there, but I don't care about 8-cent moves. Dodgers, Rockies, of course, the line moved 10 cents in the Dodgers' favor. The Reds, not much movement there. And the Giants and Padres, the line moved 10 cents in favor of the Padres tonight. Rupp just faced them, I'm pretty sure, too. So I'm a little hesitant to be betting. Let me double check that. But I'm pretty sure that they just faced each other. Landon Rupp. Oh, no, they didn't. Huh. Padres. Never mind. I was wrong. It was the Dodgers that they faced. So yeah, I would say I don't trust Bailey Ober at home tonight, and I don't trust the fact that the public is heavily backing an Atlanta pitcher in Waldrop. That, like, why are we so heavily on Waldrop? Like, what, the White Sox suck and it's Martin Perez? I don't believe that Waldrop should be that heavily favored by the public. So that's just me. Nick Martinez under 4.5 strikeouts is the question from Jordan Santori. Let's see. Oh, whoops, I pressed the wrong thing. So I did look into Nick Martinez this morning. It's 4.5. It was minus 152, the under. So the reason that I'm not on it is because the Angels strike out a ton. I actually was looking into the over because 9 of the last 10 righties to face the Angels have gone over 4.5 strikeouts. Martinez doesn't. Obviously, he only had 2 against Boston, 3 against Colorado, 5 against Detroit. 2 of those 3 were on the road. He's on the road tonight. There are certain teams for me that when you have a high K rate like the Angels, it's over or nothing. Same thing on the flip side with the Blue Jays. It's like when you have a low K rate like the Blue Jays, it's under or nothing. So congratulations that, like, if you hit the contrarian side, like if you hit the opposite side of that, but the Angels strike out a ton, one of the highest in baseball. So I'm not going to be betting an under on a pitcher against them, even if he doesn't get that many Ks. So that's why I am not on the under for Nick Martinez tonight. There really wasn't any pitcher props that stood out to me, to be honest with you, tonight. And like anything that would have stood out was too juiced. But yeah, so I would say those fishy lines, definitely be careful of Atlanta tonight, and definitely be careful. What was the other one I said? Atlanta. Oh gosh, my brain, it is just dead. Atlanta and Minnesota. Sorry, Bailey over. Atlanta and Minnesota. Be careful of those 2 teams tonight in Major League Baseball. And then I gave you guys all of the hitter props that stood out to me in Major League Baseball as well. I don't really have a royal lock. It was Chris Bassett this morning on the premium subscription for the newsletter. So Bassett under K is cash at 17.5 outs. I never really give out royal locks for hitter props. And in the W tonight, there's only 1 game, and I didn't love it. So I stayed away. Smartest thing you can do is stay away. Somehow I filled over an hour of your time today. I don't know how I do it sometimes, but here we are. Tomorrow, we are going to have Coach. Coach is going to come on, talk some W. We got WNBA action tomorrow. We got a big slate to get your questions ready for the WNBA. We got MLB action to talk about. And then on Friday, remember, it's Mid-Major Matt. We're going to talk MLB props, and I'm going to show you that really embarrassing video of me getting knocked out by a football player. Just make sure to tune in all week long. And we're getting you ready for week 0. We're getting you ready for college football. We're getting you ready for the NFL. Next week, also going to have some giveaways with Props.Cash because we are going to get ready with the NFL props coming out next week on Props.Cash. So I'm very excited about that. Thanks, Sean, for the content. You are the best. See you guys tomorrow. Good luck to your bets tonight.